we're understanding, a 30-year-old cooling tower located at the Utran Power Station in Gujarat, Surat, in fact, has been demolished through a controlled explosion. And we're putting out those visuals on our screens as well. We're understanding about 220 kgs of commercial explosives were in fact used for a demolition. Upon triggering the blast, the tower then came down within 7 seconds. An approval for the same was taken from the Central Electricity Authority in 2017 to scrap the gas-based power plant under government policy because of high production cost. So what you saw on your screens was that entire Utran Power Station in Gujarat, Surat, that in fact was brought down, razed. It was brought down in just 7 seconds. So what we're understanding was that 220 kgs of commercial explosives was used. And as you can see in those visuals, just within a span of 7 seconds, that entire power station was in fact brought down. So upon triggering the blast, you had the tower that came down within 7 seconds. As I pointed out, this was a 30-year-old cooling tower located at the Utran Power Station in Gujarat's Surat. So just for the benefit of our viewers, it was 85 meter tall. It was 30 years old. It was a controlled explosion that happened. 220 kgs of commercial explosives in fact were used for this controlled explosion. Prior approvals were also taken for this demolition to go forward. An approval was taken from the Central Electricity Authority in 2017 to in fact scrap the gas-based power plant under government policy because of the high production cost. We'll try and get more details, but those are some visuals that we're bringing to you. This will also bring you memories of the Supertech demolition that happened in Noida a few months ago. But this time, this is a 30-year-old cooling tower that in fact has been located at the Utran Power Station in Gujarat, Surat. That in fact was demolished through a controlled explosion. A lot of people had gathered to see how this demolition in fact will take place. The entire structure was brought down just in a span of 7 seconds. 220 kgs of explosives in fact were used for this controlled explosion. Let's also now bring in our colleague Mihir, who's been tracking these developments. Mihir, so we're understanding a 30-year-old tower brought down in 7 seconds. Why was the demolition happen? What was the reason behind it? And how did this controlled demolition take place?
Absolutely. So this was an old cooling tower of Utran Powerhouse in Surat, which is demolished through a controlled blast. Now, what we understand at this point is that it was based at Utran Station's 55-meter high cooling tower. So basically, the structure was, very much a cooling tower in Utran Powerhouse in Surat, and that was brought down through a very controlled kind of a blast, which was, conducted to ensure that there is only the raising down of the structure and no nearby property is harmed. Remember, this is Utran area which is pretty much sensitive, and there are several important structures around this particular power plant.
Okay, so Mir, as you're pointing out, this was a 30-year-old cooling tower. Talk to us about the explosives that were used for this demolition. As we were talking to our viewers, this would also bring back memories of the Supertech demolition that happened. So talk to us about the kind of precautions that were taken when this demolition happened and the explosives used as well.
So absolutely, whenever there is these kind of controlled explosions to raise down a building or a structure, there are several checks and procedures that are followed by authorities, and in this case too, all the necessary procedures as well as checks have been followed to ensure that not only the building is raised down in the stipulated time, but to ensure also that the nearby adjoining structures or properties are not really impacted, and for that there was a lot of pre-planning that was conducted to make sure that this is successful, and that's what we have seen today, that this particular old power tower was brought down in a matter of seconds through this controlled explosion.
Okay, Mir, we leave the conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details.